and welcome to the Circle of Heka. I'm Lady Amaris. So today we're going to be doing honey jars. Now honey jars are primarily for sweetening something, so bringing something to you, something good. So whether it is prosperity, whether it is success, whether it is good health, or it could also be used to sweeten someone to your cause. So say it is someone that you usually have a little bit of friction with, or you never be able to see your side of the view, say like a boss or maybe a relative or maybe even your significant other, just so that they are sweetened to your side of the view, see you in a more harmonious and nicer light. Now it can be seen as being manipulative, but if you look at it as in you're changing yourself, you're changing how you vibrate so that you are more conducive to someone else, then where is the line of being a little bit manipulative if you look at it that you're doing the spell on yourself, not on someone else? Now, honey jars are a lot of the time that you would hear about them would be in the hoodoo tradition. Now, honey is something that is used more of a recent thing. We have what's known as sugar jars. We have also molasses jars. Anything of a sweet nature can be used. Honey is just easy to buy and is easy for people to use, and obviously it is sweet. So anything that is sweet can be used. Sugar, molasses, even high fructose corn syrup, if you want to go in that direction, can be used in this jar. It doesn't specifically need to be honey, but honey is accessible, quite cheap to get, and when you're doing little works, spell works, you want to have something that's easy to get and quite cheap. So let's look at some of the ingredients that I've got here. You don't have to use all of them. Some of them are a little bit, what can we say? You have to send away for them. It's not something that you can get at your local supermarket or a lot of the time at your local New Age store, especially in Perth. Perth is pretty light on when it comes to New Age stores or witchy kind of stores. But a lot of the things you can actually get at your local supermarket. So firstly, we'll need a jar. Now I've got this nice little jar. It actually did have honey in it. I've taken the honey out and then we're going to slowly put our little bits and pieces in. What I like, I'm not sure if you can see that here, is the hexagonal shape that you can see here. Now I like that quite a lot because you have the hexagram, which is the upward and the downward pointed triangle, so above and below, so it would be manifestation on the spiritual and also manifestation on the physical. So you've got both of those being represented in the actual shape of the jar, which I find quite beneficial. So we have our jar. Now you'll clean it out, obviously make sure that it's good to go, and you would also just make sure that it's all right. Now what I'm doing here is I've got some Palo Santo. Now you can use any incense that can be used for purification. I've just got this because it smells nice and it was easily on hand. So you just place a little bit in here, let the smoke go through, and as you're doing it, you're visualizing that anything else that may be in the glass around, any bad influences, anything that's not conducive to what you want this working to be, you would then just banish it. Also do the lid. Let's give it a little bit more of a, this one's been used quite a bit. And a little bit there. Just on the lid. Back there. So we've got our container, which is nicely vacant of any bad juju. All right, let's go through some of the ingredients. Now, you can use all of these if you like. You can use some of these, and you can also do a little bit of your own research and find out what would be good for you. Some of these things may not actually resonate with you, and something else may do that. So just do a little bit of research, feel the energy of each thing, and then you will be able to make a nice little honey jar for yourself that resonates with you and what you want it to do. So what I've got here is, firstly, I've got Allspice, and that's just mainly prosperity. I've got this again from the local supermarket, so it's not that hard to find. I've got Fenugreek Seeds. Now, I'm not trying to, if you're looking at some of the brands, I'm not trying to say that this brand is better than that brand. It was just what I found in the local supermarket, which was nice and easy. Okay, Fenugreek Seeds. Also have a stick of cinnamon. Look at that. Now, this is just me being pedantic, but I always like to make sure that the cinnamon is actually real cinnamon and not fake cinnamon. Now, the fake cinnamon, I'll put the names of both of them down, maybe in the descriptions, but maybe it will have a little bit of a graphic will come up once I've finished speaking. But if you have a look at this, let's see if we get it nice and close. Oh, it looks like some kind of alien coming towards you. But you can see how you have the stick itself. It has that spiral look about it. We'll have a look on the other side as well. It's quite compact and it's quite spiraled. And it's also a little soft, okay? So that's real cinnamon. Now you can get the fake cinnamon, which the stalks are a lot of the time a little darker than what you see here, but also you just have one kind of spiral. It's not quite as tightly packed as you see here, and you can see a little bit of a space in there. And that is known as fake cinnamon. It still has a bit of a cinnamon smell and a taste, but is a little bit more acidic than real cinnamon. So, cinnamon stick. Now we also have star anise. Come up close there. And you try and get one that's got all its little spikes. Let's actually get in there. Yeah. And again, these are for prosperity. They're for success. They're for attracting wealth. Okay. Attracting love. A lot of them as well. We also have calendula here. A little bag of calendula. And they're just the petals. We have some jalap root, nice and close. Again, I'm sure there's some palm readers there that are probably having a field day right now. Jalap root is also known as High John the Conqueror root. And it's for money and success, prosperity, and also for protection. It's what's used if you want to give something a little bit of oomph, a little bit more power towards your spell. You would add a bit of jalap root. I've also got here, which you can see, is a Loadstone. And I'm not sure if you can see, let's see if we can get up a little closer. You've got the little hairs on the Loadstone. There we go, might be a bit better. You can see the little hairs, that's just little iron filings that have stuck to the Loadstone. So a Loadstone is a natural magnet. And in witchcraft, natural magnets are prized. Now, if you don't have a Loadstone, you can use a magnet. But what I would do is on that magnet, because it has a positive and a negative side to the magnet, I would play up the positive, the attraction, and play down the negative, if you understand what I'm talking about. So you have both good and bad within that when it comes to attraction. So play down the negative, play down the repelling, and play up the attraction. I've also got here a nutmeg, and nutmegs are very good for prosperity, for attracting success. You can wear one. You can wear one. You can have one in your pocket. And there are a few traditions that bore a little hole in and put different things like maybe mercury or silver. Not really good for health, but there are other ways to do the similar kind of thing using something that's not going to hurt your health. But that's another prosperity thing that's used. All right, so we'll have a look here. I've put some bits and pieces in some shot glasses. Now, looking at all these shot glasses, it looks like I'm a bit of a booze hound, but that's not the case. It's just a little bit easier to put small amounts into what I'm doing without having like jars and things all over the place. So we have in this little array here, we have Bayberry, which is good for luck. It's good for wealth. It's good for domestic peace and well-being, and it's also good for fertility. So again, it's all of those good things bringing in to yourself. We have I'm going to butcher some of these pronunciations, but we have Agrimony, which is good for psychic protection. It's good for prosperity and good for good luck. Okay, so a lot of the times you'll find that things that are used for protection can also be used for prosperity, because it is that twofold thing where when you are repelling something, you want to bring something in at the same time. I also have some Irish moss, okay, and that's good for health, it's good for luck, and it's good for health, wealth and luck. We also have cinquefoil, okay, also known as 5 fingers grass. That's good for protection. It's also good for prosperity, love, wisdom and success in all endeavours. We also have some red sage, which again is good for wisdom, protection and money. And lastly, I think I've put all of those. I just didn't point to them. Yes. All right. So what happens is that we then start to put them in. And just on the side here, again, it's not a glass of wine or anything. It's actually some honey that I've poured into here just for ease of use. Now, what we want to do is we want to layer the honey jar. So we want to put a little bit of honey, and then we want to put a little bit of the herbs, little bits and pieces in as we go. What we would like to also do is make sure that the Loadstone is in the center. Okay, the Loadstone will be in the center. So you will fill it up. Let's put it in front of the camera. We'll fill it up with layering with the herbs and the spices, placing the Loadstone in the center, and then we will again layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and do this, and we'll see you at the end once it is done. Just make sure as you go through each one that you're charging the herbs, and you're placing in there how you want the honey jar to go, what you actually want it to do. Because as I said, lots of honey jars are for different things. So you can have a honey jar for health. You can have a honey jar for success. You can have a honey jar for prosperity. You can have a honey jar to sweeten someone. And when you have something to sweeten someone, you'd obviously just write their name on a piece of paper and fold that up and place that into the jar as well. So there are certain different things that will need to be done depending on what type of honey jar that you are working with. So let's get going.
send that beautiful energy up into the heavens. So another very powerful cleansing incense that's often used by witches is dragon's blood. Dragon's blood, when it goes onto the charm,